Good morning, my friends. Today, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nathanael Nyala Bintang. Usually, my friends call me Bintang at the university, while my other friends just call me Nathan. I was born on 24th of August 2005 in Pontianak. I'm 18 years old right now. I grew up at Pontianak. I also live at Pontianak, specifically in Arif Rahman Hakim Street, number 114. My religion is Catholic, and I usually go to Cathedral St. Joseph Church. Currently, I live with my parents and younger brother in a house. Between the two siblings, I am the eldest. I already mentioned that I have a younger brother. He is now a student at St. Paul High School, Pontianak. Now, he is in his third year. My father is an entrepreneur. Now he is 56 years old and will turn 57 by the next month. My mother is a housewife. She is 50 years old and she will turn 51 by December. My father is from the Tamanese tribe, which is a branch from the Dayaknis tribe. He is from Kapuas Hulu, while my mother is from the Batak tribe from North Sumatra. So I am the generation from the mixture between these two cultures. My mother's language is the Tamanese language, but I never use it or speak the mother's language because to me it's a bit difficult for me to understand and to speak. So when speaking in house or any kind of formal conversation, I usually use the nationality language, which is Indonesian. Now let's talk about my hobbies. I have 3 different hobbies: playing games, listening to music, and reading a book. Now let's talk about my first hobby. My first hobby is playing game, like I already said before. The games that I like to play are computer games or PC games, you want to call it, Nintendo games, and PlayStation games. For PlayStation games, I played Dynasty Warriors, Crash Bandicoot, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Avatar: The Legend of Aang. While for computer games, I played Zuma, Ricochet, Plants vs. Zombies, Nine the Dark Side, and Amazing Adventures. As for Nintendo game, I rarely played those games before. The only game that I like to play is Mega Man X from the Super Nintendo. Now that I already talked about my first hobby, let's go on to the second hobby, listening to music. I like to listen to several kind of music genres like jazz, pop, rock, and classical. For jazz, I like to listen to Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, and Louis Armstrong. For pop music, I only listen to 2 artists, which is George Benson and Glenn Medeiros. While rock music is very diverse, I like to listen to Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Europe, Survivor, and Aerosmith. While for classical music, I like to listen to Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, and Chopin. Now that I already talked about my second hobbies, let's go on to my last hobby, which is reading a book. I like to read some serious book like the history of the American president, the Chinese history of the Three Kingdoms, and the tragedy events around the world like genocide in Cambodia, China, USSR, and Germany. Apart from the serious books, I also like to read non-serious books like comic books. The comic books that I like to read are comedy comic books like Police Agent 2 and 12, Bob the Prisoner, Lucky Luck, and Tintin. While for mystery comics, I like to read Detective Kindaichi and Detective Conan. Now let's talk about my favorite foods. My favorite foods are pizza, hamburger, hot dog, dim sum, and fried noodles. Between the five, I like pizza the most because of the cheese. I like the cheese so much that I'll order another pizza just because I want to taste the cheese more because it's very tasty. While for hamburger and hot dog, because it was the combination between bread, meat, vegetables, etc. As for dim sum, I like dim sum because it was one of my favorite foods along with my family. Now I already talked about my favorite foods. Let's go on to talk about my favorite drinks. I like to drink guava juice, chocolate milk, coffee milk, and Coke. I like to drink guava juice because it was one of my favorite drinks compared to the other three, because guava juice brings vitamins, minerals, and enthusiasm in my body. If I don't drink one guava juice just for one day, I felt very weak because I had no vitamins, minerals, and enthusiasm in my body. Now let's talk about my favorite music groups. My favorite music groups are Scorpions, Motley Crue, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and Def Leppard. For my solo artists, I like to listen to Michael Jackson, David Bowie, George Michael, and Elton John. As for my favorite movies, I like to watch Avengers Endgame, SpongeBob SquarePants the movie, and Avengers Infinity War. Among these three, I like SpongeBob SquarePants the movie so much because of SpongeBob Adventures with Patrick seems to give me a lesson that don't give up in any kind of challenges or obstacles. Now, I have my good characters and bad characters. My good characters are I'm diligent, I'm loyal, I'm religious, I don't like to procrastinate. While my bad characters are I'm selfish, I was easily to get emotional or get angry, and I'm very, very picky when it comes to eating a food. Now, my dream is to become a successful programmer and to bring happiness towards my family, especially towards my parents. So that is the only introduction for myself. I apologize if there are some mispronunciations or some speech gaps. Thank you for watching and good morning.